Hi, I'm Missrepresent, I'm from Silent Code, and we're just giving you a little video blog today of one of our tracks, Don't Give Up. And also, this is...
I'm Daps from Silent Code. We're going to break down 1 or 2 parts in the project just to let you people know what's going on.
So we've just been getting some people messaging us on Facebook and hitting us up on AIM just regarding our mix downs, the drums and some of the productions. So I'm going to give you a few tips of what we're doing today anyway.
The kick snare that we're using is something that we built like as a separate project, because we wanted a foundation kick snare where we can just purely use it as the cut through in the mix, and then obviously dress it with other snares or whatever, just to give it the characterise it for whatever project you're using, whether it be dark, jump up or liquid or whatever.
So the kicks that we use and the snare it's like a fundamental building block in our tunes, and we using that same kick snare now throughout
the tunes.
Majority of our tunes. We're even going back into old projects that we did and that Dean started, and actually putting the new kick snare into the tune just to give them a new lease of life.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, this kick here, I mean, this kick, even though it's shown as 1 block now, it is a layer of probably 2 or 3 kicks. But again, like we're saying, this is the main kick we use. The snares, we've got 3 snares here. We've got the main snare, and then we've also got 2 characterised snare, which one's a clap, one's a a top snare. So if we just give it a quick play.
So just here you've got the snares, and then you've got the kicks, and what we do is we layer them up. So you've got your kicks and you've got your snares. So we're just using 3 here, but each one of those snares we've individually processed as well. So it's not just a basic snare that we've taken out of a sample pack. We've gone in and we've EQ'd each one, and then what we do is when we bring them together, I mean, we could group them and bounce them out, but we find it a lot better when we go in and manipulate drums later on in the track. If
You've got more control over
each one.
So we'll just give a quick play on just the drum track, which is just a kick snare.
So what you've got there is obviously that's the fundamental backbone of our track for the intro moving on, and that sound, which is like a scratchy sound,
the white noise
sound. That again, it just adds another texture, another layer that you go onto your tunes, and you find that also by having those extra textures and the extra frequencies, they cut through a lot more.
Better.
By what we did with that as well, that you know, using your ideas and being creative, the vocal that we got in the track, we actually layered up with it sounds like which is like a whisper sound. So we took the vocal as well of Don't Give Up, so it went Don't Give Up, which is like a whisper effect. Again, it just adds another texture, another layer underneath that track.
Then, obviously, underneath the main power of your drums, you've got your backing loops, which we've got folded away here. You've got, like, you know, a drum loop there, which is just a normal Rex loop or something, and then you've got other loops as well, just to add, again, a bit more speed to the loop, a bit more character to it itself. If we were just to play all the loops together on the drum step part. And this is a drum step part here, but when it comes into the drum and bass part, we need it to be a bit more full, so we added a lot more loops going off. If we just play all them together. So you can hear, like, already you've got, like, it's a fuller sound, you know. To add a bit more speed, a bit more texture onto there as well, you want to start dressing up the loop with, like, some hats. Hats always go down well. For all sorts. What we've tried to create in this is a bit of a rocky feel, so very splashy on the cymbals and crashes, because it's slow but at the same time moving.
It took us quite a while to get the cymbal right, to be able to get that kind of splashy effect, and you'll find, you know, we were putting a lot of different cymbals in and they just weren't really sounding right.
Yeah,
so,
cymbals is a weird one. I mean, there are sample packs out there. I mean, you can even get, like, you know, certain sample packs off magazines which give you, you know, all sorts of live drums, also, you know, computer processed drums. But again, cymbals is one thing which is quite difficult to EQ out because you get a lot of noise in there. So, you know, it's quite showery sounding.
It's also about getting a good release though, isn't it,
Yeah.
on the sound, so...
Those cymbals are very compressed. I mean, again, the drum track with the cymbals. That's obviously, you know, covering the whole, you know, range of frequencies there. And then obviously you've got all your other little individual hats.
What you'll notice as well is, you know, we have 92 channels. If you open out, if you zoom out, and you actually say, let's just do that. There you go. And you can actually see. So you have to make sure that it's all organised. We make
where you are.
Make sure that it's all
So
folded up correctly.
Yeah, folded up. So if you can see it down the long column here, you've got your kick snare, loops, hats, pads, textures, build-ups, you know, down, drops, percussions, the vocals, bass lines, everything. So our bass line channels is quite
And what
complex.
you'll find is when you want to put like reverbs and delays and things on it, you can obviously, when they're folded up, you've got them grouped, so it's a lot easier just to add those effects and put those dynamics onto each channel.
One thing I would say about using reverbs and delays in that, as a CPU friendly idea, you could use effects channels where here we're using a long verb and we're using a short verb, where they're both the same reverb unit, but one's set up for a longer release as a longer time.
And what they do is they give you different like room sounds.
Yeah.
So different like drums and different things would have different effects in rooms. So that's what you're kind of adding to that sound.
And that's right. And then what you can do is, you know, start assigning some of the, you know, the channels to that effects channel, rather than putting a reverb on every single channel. You can just assign a little bit of reverb to that channel.
One of the things that you can use on your drums, which is a good thing to try out, is the sausage fattener.
Yeah, it's an absolute. It's a free download, and it's a brilliant piece of kit. You know, if you just want to just search for sausage fattener.
Yeah, it's a free download, and we were just watching some tutorials online. It's another reason why we're doing, you know, a little thing like this, is because you can pick up a lot of things just by watching and listening to other people. So that's the drums covered. Quick touch on the bass lines. One of the things, I love bass lines. I love working with bass lines. Drums, to be honest, is Dean's thing. You know, he's really good with drums and sequencing.
Yeah, I mean, Alina as well, she's very creative. She's good with the ideas of, if we was to write a bass line, Alina's straight on it, where you said, no, change it, do this, do that, and, you know, straight. I mean, I'm very passionate with what I do, and sometimes we don't quite agree with one another, but it's all about trial and error.
And sometimes I have to force, you know, we sit there, we're like, you know, I really want to do this, I've really got this idea, and can we just try it? And when we do try it,
it works. You know what I mean?
Sometimes it's the case, you know, when we first started working in the studio together, Dean was, you know, you were quite stubborn at times.
It was difficult.
But now it's like, if I ask for something to happen, it's like, we'll try it. And
this is it. You might notice that everything's in audio at the moment. That's because this is a lot later on in the stage of this project here, where everything what was in MIDI is now being exported back into audio. So obviously you can add more process on it, do more compression, whatever you need to do. We left it quite dry so we can have, you know, full hands-on, more control of what we wanted to do. Obviously, in every drum and bass track you need a sub. Whether you can pick that up or not through that is the sub part there, and we've got like
subs also add a lot of warmth, you know. They're like good at adding warmth to the track.
You know, the majority of drum and bass tunes now, the subs one of the forefront sounds, you know, because it's bass driven. So
one of the things we use on our bass lines as well, VST, which I love using, is the camel fat.
The camel fat, yeah.
And when I use that, you know, if I need to get some chorus or some more like, you know, a bit more
distortion,
width as well. Sometimes it can add that. The camel fattener, like VST, is really good. Something that you can just add. You get quite quick, instant results on things as well.
If we was to just play all the bass lines together at the moment.
that's actually made up of several different bass lines, but one good thing is to get them all sounding like they're one, so to make them sound like they're going into one out of the other, and that's all about getting the levels right, the sound levels right for a start.
You know, there's about 7 different bass lines going off in this tune, but again, you know, not all of them are the forefront. Some of them are used as layers, some of them are just there just for one bar, if that, you know. So, you know, if we were to just... Do you want to play it with the drum track?
Yeah, let's just go from there. Let's do that with the drums.
We'll just play it with the drum track and that's it. So you've got...
So what we did is we sent that as a project over to J-Sonic, and he's over in America, and it took us about 2 weeks to find that MC, and I could hear this "Don't Give Up" in the tune, and I really wanted that kind of American grit twist. So it's quite difficult to find an MC.
Again, the vocal parts are broken down into many different channels because, of course, because we couldn't be in the studio together. It's not like we can say, right, do this, yeah, we want to work with that, we want to do this. We just had to get him to do as many different things as possible. So whether it would just be like, just vocal hits, you know, just vocals in general where it's just a verse, a chorus, or just hits. So we had to get everything possible. So when he did send it to us, we had more than plenty to work with. So if you just want to have a look at...
And I've got to give a big shout out to everyone on Facebook who helped us find J-Sonic. So thanks for that one. And yeah.
Again, like the vocal part. We've got like an automated part here coming in, low pass in.
It was quite easy to get it to do though.
Yeah.
Don't give up, don't give up, don't give up, don't give up.
So, you know, when you've got an idea and you want to get somebody to do it, you know, we could tell him that's how we wanted to do it, and he was brilliant, you know.
Yeah.
You know, he recorded it real quick and got it over. And big shout out to Ems as well, who was recording everything.
The engineer for the session.
Over there, over in America. So, yeah, that was wicked.
All right, so the main sort of like hook of the vocal.
It ain't easy living in this modern day life. Every day another struggle, life is sharp as a knife.
So what you can say,
life is broken and it's all mashed up. Keep your head to the stars and don't give up.
what you've got is the main vocal track running there, and then on these bits here, we've just basically snipped them out, and then we've added
different like, effects and stuff
and delays on there, and we've only done it at the end bits. And if you did it over the whole bit, you suddenly get a very messy sound coming over.
Cluttered.
So we like a clean sound, you know. We like to we both like to work with making a really clean, distinct sound and making each part come out. And by doing that, you know, at the end result, you get a clean sound. So if everything in each track is clean and everything's sounding nice, your overall sound at the end will sound nice, you know.
We like to separate a lot of stuff, what's going off here.
We found that, but it's taken us quite a few months to get to that stage. You know, it's taken us quite a long time, you know.
Of course. It's all about, you know, thinking about what is it you want to do. Where do you start?
What sound do you want at the end?
Yeah, and one big thing as well is using good quality samples, you know. There's no point in using dud samples because they just will not cut through in the mix, no matter how much you touch them up or anything like that. I mean, of course, use certain muddy sounds for different sorts of tracks that you're working with, you know. You don't have to always constantly go for the best, you know. But I'd think if you're doing a clean production, then yeah, you want to go for decent sounds.
That's kind of touched on some VSTs, drums and bass lines. So what we're going to talk about next on is kind of mixing the whole thing down, because you keep getting asked about mix downs. And it's something that, you know, we're offering to do for our, you know, our friends and people at the moment. We're doing mixing down some of our friends'
Soft
tracks.
masters as well.
Yeah, so, I mean, we're going to touch on that quickly. But again, first thing, before you go down and mix everything down, you need to be organised.
You need to be organised.
Especially when you've got 92 tracks, you know, going through like we have here, everything's folded up. And then going through each folder to start mixing down, you start off with the first thing, the drums, get them at a nice level. Again, when we're working in the studio with all our levels here, we always keep them at round figures as well.
Yeah, definitely using round figures, so like you can see, you know, work around 5, 2s and all sorts
So
of...
not like 4.21, we always round them off to the nearest figure. So
Yeah.
just make sure it's all nice and tidy.
And you can always type it in as well, and it's something where, you know, it kind of fits in the mix a bit better. I mean, it's another little...
So if you started off with your drums, okay, and you mix those down, you want to make sure that all your drums are sitting nicely as a group in one track together, and then go individually into each one.
Again, it's personal preference again to mixing down. Everyone has their own ways to mixing down. I mean, some people, you know, bust the kick with the sub and everything, and you know, compress them together. Other people do other sort of side chaining manoeuvres and that. But the main, you know, fundamental idea of the mix down is that everything needs to be at a peak level. Everything needs to be nice. We try and not compress too hard everything, because we can apply the end compression on a master. You know, we can export the whole project and get everything compressed there. Even add a bit of touch of distortion to give it that gritty sound in as well. But I feel as if you did it at this stage now, then exported it to then compress it, you're then compressing a compressed sound. If you know what I'm saying. And
you lose it a lot. We did that with Engaged, and we played that out, and we played it out, and we'd over compressed it, and you could hear it immediately.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'd start off with your drums. Get your kick snares at a nice, respectable level on your stereo output, and then you start with your basses, sub, and then your bass lines, you know, to fit on top of it, and then, you know, start working with your textures, your pads, or whatever else you got in there.
So you bring one thing in at a time.
Yeah, and then even take things out as you're moving along down the mix, you know, so you can take things in and out, so you can get a true representation of what it sounds like.
And then once you've kind of got a final mix, one thing that we tend to do on a master output at the end is we just bring it down. So just bring it down by about 3 to 5 dB.
Everything's been brought down on the group channels, because if you start grouping them up, it takes, I don't know, it's a lot easier. Rather than doing it individually, you can just bring down the whole group channel by a couple of dB. And again, that's creating headroom. You're taking it out of the clipping zone, but like we said earlier, it's all personal preference. Some people like to distort the channels, running it into the red as it comes out. But, you know, again, I'd like to add that on at a later stage.
Because if you want to get a nice clean sound, you know, you bring all the levels down. What we found is bring them all down. You give them more room for everything else to breathe, rather than really ramming it. So that's a good thing. And then I suppose, like, after mixing down, you know, and going through frequency analyzers.
Yeah, and we can see up here as well.
If you look up here.
If we just play, you can see, like, the frequency going off here.
This is a part that comes, this one's in waves. This is actually part of the
wave bundle.
Bundle. And this one's the
PAS analyzer. Yeah. And then you've also got, like, you know, the width here of your tune as well, so you can see.
So you've got here, right, so this is like kind of the centre of the room. That's and then you've got like your left and right, and you want, what we want to try and do is bring out the sound to about here and get it out, get the sound as wide as possible. So at the moment it's kind of sitting very...
It's very wide, to be honest. It's a very wide sound, because as in, like, you're right here and then your left here, anything here would be classed as anti-phase. But then again, you know, some plugins that you use, for some reason, put it into anti-phase. I won't worry about it too much. I mean, if you know a sound's phasing, then obviously you can anti-phase it or phase reverse it to take it out.
Okay.
Right then. So, I think we covered quite a bit, really.
Just missed the Mr. and Mrs. Just missed the Mr. and Mrs. part. There is a massive part of our tracks, and that is...
Well, we've got plenty more bits and bobs about to come out.
We're going to do a couple more videos after this one. Also, got some Santa's come in, so Santa's going to be bringing us some new studio gear.
More toys to make noise with. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's all about making noise.
We're doing another video, but I think the other thing one more say is, you know, the Mackeys. There is, you know, a huge sound difference
when you use
use good monitors.
The thing is, well, I mean, I've worked in loads of different studios, worked in loads of different, like, room sizes and everything, and
we cracked it in here. You know, we've got a really good room in here, and it's a mix downs are just coming out amazing in here.
The treatment in this room is not like, wow, you know, we spent like 20-40 grand on the room.
But this thing here,
things we use like
we've got a big clothes rack at the back there, which is right behind the speakers, and it's just deadening it off.
We've got like a sofa in there.
Big sofa.
Anything heavy, you know, like a wall of vinyl left, it's going to be soaking up the sound. you know, we are going to treat the room even more.
So when you clap in here, you know, you can hear.
It's pretty dead.
Yeah.
And
but,
yeah, we're going to treat it even more anyway.
So we're going to play the track for you, and then we're going to do another video, probably on Spellbound, and also we've got a new track which we're calling All Aboard, or Night Train, and we're going to do another video on that. That one's like, we just started it, so we're going to do some step by step.
It's really early stage, so it'd be good to, like, you know, break that down.
Break that down.
Okay. Right, play the tune.
Keep your head to the stars.
Well, I hope you got something from the video anyway. But like I say, it's one of many videos that we're going to be doing. So.
And thank you for listening and watching, and keep firing those questions to us, because obviously, you know, people are interested in what we're doing, and that's nice, you know. That's
we
good
like the
feeling.
support. So big up everybody that's supporting Silent Code. Big up everybody that's buying the tunes.
And
you know
big up,
I mean?
you know, everyone that's signing our tunes. So yeah.
I mean, expect more to be coming. Trust me, 2012.
Hope you have a good Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Boo.